We're back. Final game of the day here for Starladder Season 11 Europe, and what a game it's going to be. Tusk was the first pick for basically unknown as they go up against Nodis Vincere. I'm Helium, and with me, Blaze. Potentially.
Indeed, and I'm extremely excited to see what they're going to be able to accomplish with this hero in particular. They do ban out the Phoenix, so it's not going to be a Tusk-Phoenix combo that theoretically could reduce your attack speed down to really, really sad levels. But they are going to be going for, again, mid-initiators. Like, I thought the Puck was something that was pretty signature to basically unknown strategy. They used him and the Witch Doctor in both of the previous games, but here we are, them picking up the Storm Spirit. And although he does have some issues against the silence of the Puck, in general, he's a very good long-range initiator that can snowball forward their momentum. So we'll see if that's going to work out in their favor, if they can get Tusk to play the way they intended to. Tusk is a very interesting hero right now because theoretically, he's one of the most powerful heroes in the game. But to execute on the level that you would be expected to make that happen, it's beyond Meepo requirements. Like, you have to be insane on your reflexes and have perfect situational awareness. And you can play like a Shadow Demon ×5. You can snowball your team, so when they're caught in the Dream Coil, for example, if you're on the outside, you can blink in on top of them and go ahead and put them all in the snowball. That'll wait out the Waning Rift, and that'll wait out most of the Dream Coil, and then you can kind of choose to maneuver as you will. But this also puts you in a small, tiny little clump circle right when you come out on top of whoever you're snowballing. And they get to choose the position as well, because obviously they are the target. They'll, generally speaking, know which way you were facing if the team is well spread out. So they can kind of pull you back into a more dangerous position and then AoE you down, follow it up. So it's dangerous, but this hero lives on the edge. He has so much potential to burst people down with the Walrus Punch and trap people in with the Ice Shards. He really is a very high-skilled hero that we saw a lot in the Chinese scene about 2 months ago. He got a change that I felt potentially could be a buff. We had an interesting discussion.
I think it was a buff.
Yeah,
Raises the skill cap, but it's definitely a buff.
Yeah, at the Summit there were some players that I thought it was actually a pretty decent nerf, but there were plenty of others that thought it was a good buff.
All the good players thought it was a buff.
I don't think so. I mean, it really, I guess it depends on who you call good and who you're playing.
I don't even know who said it, because I wasn't there. But
yeah, I'm leaving out names intentionally. But in this case, it's just one of those things. It's a very polarizing idea, the ability to choose where your Ice Shards go, rather than them locking onto a target after they collide. And yeah, there's a lot of potential either way.
There also are other heroes, although, going to be honest, don't care about them because there's a Tusk. Nodis Vincere, they go with the Brewmaster, Elder, Titan, so already there's a lot of potential teamfight control with the sleeves, with the Primal Splits, with the Earth Splitters. All their abilities, great, working in tandem. Also the Dream Coil, the Skywrath Mage. Tons of magic damage and a little bit of strong physical right-click from the crit of the Brew. And the rest of the lineup are basically unknown. Not only will they be rolling in style inside of a snowball with the Tusk, they can also follow up with some lightning. The Storm Spirit, Zip Zapping, Jakiro, Witch Doctor, also there again. Good teamfight control, Ice Paths, Macro Pyres, Witch Doctor with the casks, and also that Death Ward. Some dangerous stuff from both teams.
It's possible also that they picked up the Tusk just because it reminds them of home. A lot of these guys are Swedish, and the voice acting is pretty legit on that front. It's annoying for those that don't embrace the heritage there, but he's a pretty authentic fellow. But we're gonna have the last pick come out for basically unknown here. They've already got what I would say definitely two core heroes here. The Tusk is probably going to do the off lane, though I have seen him at any number 4 position as well work out all right. The Storm is definitely going to say for mid, and then Jakiro would kind of follow in the steps of whatever's available. So the only
those are the steps that Jakiro has to follow in right now from the last few days.
Yeah, he's not had a good few days, and that's just because of how he's been positioned. But they do go for
another Zeus.
More lightning here. They've got ice, lightning, fire, and whatever the hell Witch Doctor likes to throw around.
Green?
But purple? Come on.
Purple? I don't know. Yeah, I guess voodoo, maybe perhaps.
Yeah.
Fire, ice, lightning, and voodoo.
You can keep your laser beams. I have voodoo.
I like that.
But Zeus, yeah, obviously having some crazy burst damage. They're going to be able to pick people off left, right, and center. But he's up against Ancient Seal and Waning Rift. it feels pretty difficult to get kills. I mean, hell, even the Brewmaster has his split, so he's not
Yeah.
going to be as easy to kill off in that context. Like, I honestly am not sure how a Zeus finds survivability here. I guess a Yule Scepter would go a long way for defensive purposes. The Force Staff wouldn't do enough against the Puck and a BKB. It just feels out of place
I
for the
even
hero.
like blink. Like if you're,
Sure.
you chugged a Red Bull before this game or something, your reflexes are up there. Like no one can really get damage on you without you blinking out first. Maybe the puck, the waning rift is pretty fast, but should be able to
Oh,
dodge out the split.
dirty,
And
dirty
well, we
Hippos.
saw it the other day, and we're gonna
It's
see
too
it
good.
again. The
It's
Medusa
too good
comes
as a
out.
fifth pick. I'm surprised there was like a month where it didn't get picked at all. This hero is just too damn good as a fifth pick. Like they don't have an answer. Nobody's gonna be going Necronomicons. Nobody's gonna be going Diffusal Blades.
I
It
feel like Jakiro could get a Necronomicon, but it's not something I have seen.
yeah, it is the offline Jakiro from Kefka, so it's a possibility. But either way, Medusa's just like even if he gets that item, Medusa's gonna be so farmed already because she's got essentially got a free landing as the Jakiro. Like the ET Skywrath support will be able to zone the Jakiro away. Medusa gets free farm. So I really don't know how you deal with this. Like I love the gimmicky strats and I love the Tusk in general. Like I think, hey, you don't have to worry about Zeus's survivability maybe because of the OP snowball. But when you're running him as a support and you're up against Medusa, like you have to think about if you're actually ever going to be able to kill this hero. It's just insane. And Dendy's going to be playing the Brewmaster, which in of itself is very scary.
Yeah, I think late game, hero's not dying, but I mean, you do have a Tusk. Any early rotations when the levels in the mana shield we saw yesterday, Admiral Bulldog was actually playing for Alliance, which was pretty fun to see. And he did take that one roll because Loda was stuck in an airport, and he was going one. I think he ended up going 1-3-1, maybe even 1-4-1, taking a point in the ult or even stats. And that mana shield, if you have that burst damage of Tusk coming out in the early game, you might be able to kill the Medusa a few times, but even then, it's just a minor setback. And looking at the last game, like, look how much anti-mage was set back, and he was still able to find that farm. Medusa can do something similar.
Yeah, that last example though you were given of the Bulldog Medusa was a little bit different. That he went 3-0-3 in 10 minutes. Like they fed him
That's
pretty
true,
hard.
yeah. And then he still
Anyways,
went for, like, the most passive Medusa item build ever.
yeah, but we won't go back into it. We're gonna look at the positioning of Funnick here on the bottom lane. That's pretty slick. Placing down the observer ward so he knows if they're ever invading, and otherwise he's just hiding out in the trees. So he's just gonna be in experience range most of the time since we do see the body blocks coming in from Sneaky. He does have tools to push out the lane once he knows it's empty, but I don't know. Ice shards destroyed trees, don't they?
Sorry, the what? Destroy
The ice
trees?
shards destroyed trees.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played Tusk that much. I want to say yeah.
I feel it does. Either way, you could use like the
It'd be
frozen
way
sigil.
too easy to trap people like along tree lines and stuff. Like,
They've
completely.
got different clear vision tools too. The static remnant, the sigil. Both of those could see him, perhaps, but they'll probably be looking on the eastern side. They're already pinging it out to go check those little spots that they've seen in the past, but no luck.
Yep. So some nice tricks here from the Punic. And let's see. It's Magoma down here, the support. They've been playing a lot of Vengeful Spirit today. It's actually the tri-lane with Storm in it. Safe lane Storm does not have the best win rate. I'm not sure what it is in this patch, but from Meta's past, I remember it not being all that great. But Safe lane Storm is something that actually Na'Vi have done as well, you know, with Dendi playing that down there sometimes when they're mixing up those lineups back in the day.
Yep, so Funnick does have to leave his hiding places. They end up just pushing out the lane with some remnants to cause him some grief and make sure that he doesn't get to level 2 easily, but end of the day, he's still going to get some experience because he's a puck, and with boots first at that. But mid lane, it is Dendi with 6 magic stick charges. He is eating a lot of arc lightning damage, but he should be able to sustain with this bottle that's forthcoming, and there's no mana left on the Zeus to surprise him with any burst damage. But Puck is actually rotating away from the lane. Funnick is going to go maybe for stacking some Ancients for the Medusa. That's a very real possibility, and then he could go, of course, for the Rune Control, which the Witch Doctor already seems to have covered.
Are there ways to do the Medusa Ancients with the new terrain changes on the dire side? Not that they're doing that this game, but
I don't think it's worth it until you get 2 points in split shot, and that's not the build he's going for.
I think
so.
you can stand up here on the new terrain north of the Roshan pit, and the Ancients will like keep attacking you. And look at that, Roshan with the big right jab. Looking like Balrog as he brings down the
Oh,
puck. No first blood for Zeroji.
nope.
Oh my gosh, and he TP's back down. The heal is there at level 1. I don't know if Phoenix can have the burst damage. He is also level 1. He's only got 70 damage from the orb. That's not really what you're looking for. So he'll back off, but does trade out some more right clicks.
Yep, so we do have the Alpha and Jakiro here doing all right. Medusa's still going to be able to farm up here 11 last hits and is denying well enough that the Jakiro doesn't get everything he wants, but surprisingly still doing better than Funnick. Funnick's only level 1 here, so props to both Magoma as well as Zeroji, specifically Zeroji, being very active in zoning him out. But on top lane, as you caught it, it is going to be Goblak setting up the kill pretty easily here, as the Jakiro is just one of those heroes that just can't help but die occasionally.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Don't have any built-in escapes, but just showing up in the off lane as, you know, when it becomes a 1v1 lane, like Jakiro is a strong laner. We've even seen him in the mid matchups back in the day against the Templar Assassin, mainly because Liquid Fire is really good, but anyways, he'll find some farm this game. He'll look for the Tranquils into the Yule Scepter. Maybe he builds the Necro Book we talked about, but let's look at the mid lane again, where we've got 14 last hits on the Zeus, played by Mind Control. He's going to have to put up a really good performance. I mean, seeing what God was bringing out today, the Zeus bar has been set pretty high, and Dendi now started to take over this lane. 17 and 6. He's got a double damage, and he's back to full health, full mana.
Yeah. I'd rather... actually, Funnick is, like, completely off the tower here. Like, there's this huge creep wave that actually came this direction, but he's going to have ET rotate to actually help him out. Otherwise, Magoma would just Ice Shards him in, and he'd have to orb out once again. But, yeah, I think I'm in the position where if I have the choice between being a level 4 Jakiro that fed First Blood or a level 1 Puck as an offlaner, I'd probably go with the Jakiro still. Although he did die, he's getting the experience he needs to be relevant this game. Puck is going to be so far behind. His damage is going to be irrelevant. It's all up to his disables to really make the most of things.
You can potentially catch up on the Ancients that he has been stacking. It's been stacked twice, so while he's level 1, he hasn't died any... Well, he has actually died, just kidding. But no, it neutrals. Roshan killed him. So,
Yeah.
Does have the 1 death. Didn't lose much for it, though. But stacking the Ancients is nice. Medusa can come down and clear that up. It won't take all that long, and with that, some added levels if it's just the two
Oh,
of them.
Magoma's dead. I mean, maybe he could go for some tricky Ice Shard stuff, but I don't think so.
You
He'll
can
snowball.
one of the lesser Brewlings and
Yeah,
buy
wait
some
4
extra
seconds.
Time, yeah. Or not.
It's fine. Doesn't really matter either way. Whether he does it or not, it doesn't change the state of affairs there, and it might be better for him just to get back on the lane. Dendi, however, is going to be heading right back out to the mid lane. Zeus now kind of edging him out on CS, but irrelevantly so. He's still going to have a well-timed Blink Dagger after that kill.
Yeah, the kill's nice. 1,100 gold after the brown boots. Been seeing a lot of brown boots straight into the Blink Dagger today. As up top, Jakiro with a dual breath onto Goblak, playing on that Skywrath. Of course, Havost now less than 4 up on the Medusa. And what are his last hits at? Actually, 22 and 9. Storm Spirit is the guy who's really killing it right now, and Storm Spirit going to be played by Sneaky here for basically unknown. 37 and 6. Already has the Intreads, a Ring of Bass, Circlet to maybe complete up that Null Tally, but it looks like with the Ring of Regen, he's going straight into the Soul Ring, which could be that early Bloodstone again.
So, some real possibility in that regard, but I'm not so... I mean, the Bloodstone is pretty important on the Storm Spirit, I believe, and they're actually going to have 2 Bloodstones if they go that route, because I believe this is headed that way too.
Oh, man. This is a big stop to sleep here from Vanscore. It's quite the play, but they're not going to have the damage. Dendi doesn't even waste the time with another right click. And then I thought he was just going to run back to the lane, but then just waste some time walking back and forth. He's there, though. Farming doesn't miss much. Bottom lane, I think we got a proper push coming in. We've got, what is our Tusk? 1 death here, level 3. Witch Doctor, level 4, has some heal. And Sneaky up here is level 5. Tower, blow, half HP. And Puck not there to get any of that experience. He's still back in base, level 4.
Yep, they got Basilius and Voodoo Restoration, so they're pretty happy about their ability to just push out the tower and probably take it here. The orb, however, will be coming out. First, the Puck was out of mana, but now finally comes back to the lane with a bottle and should be able to spam out his spells more. Kafka eats an Echo Stomp up top, and it should be his death as Dendi rotates in.
Yep, Goblak's trying to keep that space. Doesn't want to go down if he doesn't have to, and I don't think the Jakiro is going to have quite enough damage to do it anyways. 4 heroes up top right now. Might be trying to look to get the first tower, or even a tower trade if the push continues in the bottom lane. But if it does, Phonic now level 4. It's got the silence, the orb. Well, he uses it to farm there, but a little bit more survivable as the extra levels get pumped in to the Puck. Witch Doctor looking to reward. Has some observers in the stash. Ice shards looking for it.
Misses it. It's kind of like a Fisher now, where essentially
Yeah.
you have to aim it in a very particular way, and if they're on the wrong side of it, then you done goofed.
It is. It still snaps at the max range, right? It won't ever not form. Pretty sure.
You can't. I mean, it forms where you click it. Period.
But okay. So, do you know? Will you run to cast if you click further than it goes, or will it just go and then?
I believe you'll run to cast now.
Run to cast. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Again, I mean, we brought it up already. I really like the change. The skill cap for the hero just skyrocketed with that. Although, the fails of the week potential also skyrocketed. So you do have to be careful over there on the snowball guy.
That's a nice way to put it. Another ancient stack plus rune grab from Phonic. He's doing his due diligence, even if he's not having the easiest time. Maybe he can contribute to a Zeus kill. Man, that would be some nice experience. Zeus is almost a level 8, but Phonic would love to be a part of that. But hasting in, he gets pinged out, and he certainly isn't doing anything by himself.
Please feed the pucks. Not gonna find anything yet.
He feels more fairy than dragon right now. He really needs to tee up the ladder.
Maybe he needs to put his sight on another dragon like Jakiro. He's already 0-2, 17-3 though, so getting some last hits. We'll check his net worth, 1.6. So he's about 100 gold above the puck. For levels though, level 7. I mean, the 2 deaths in level 7. I feel like you touched on it earlier. I'll completely agree now. That's got to feel a lot better than being level 5.
He's almost doubling his experience per minute.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Blink Dagger on Dendy, though. Looking at mid, this should be a pretty easy jump kill on Zeus if he doesn't know about this, but he's playing very reserved to the southeast.
Well, the ward's there for Zeroji. Hasn't refreshed them yet. We'll look at the Radiant Vision. Okay, there it is. A nice lane ward for the Storm. The hero is pretty survivable, but maybe pending a puck silence, they wanted to be able to zip out. They can also see TPs in if they decide to get aggressive, unless the TPs come from behind the tower. You see the line is drawn there in the fog of war. Someone who is nearby is actually Vanscore on the Elder Titan. Doesn't look like the Ancients have been stacked anymore as they come into frame.
Yeah,
the push in the bottom lane continues.
There's plenty of Ancients for Dusa for now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still going to have a hard time burning
More
through all
Ancients.
those. But it's actually going to be interesting. The Storm Spirit not going for the Bloodstone here. Does go for the Soul Ring build to kind of keep that spam going, but he's actually going to be going for the Orchid first and foremost. So going to have a lot of potential with the Silence Initiation to maybe even bring down the Brew without him getting the Primal Split off.
All right, there's, well, still just the Elder Titan. The rotation is here, though. It's the smoke. Go Black brings it to the middle lane. Smokes up Dendy. The rune disappears, but there isn't a ward there yet, so it's going to be just fine. It's an illusion. It's not that important. The tower will fall, and with that, the rest of the team starts backing off. Not going to reveal those smoked heroes, but the map sort of shows up. The icons don't. It's pretty obvious where they are still. And with that, everyone backs off. Storm Spirit up to the top lane to farm, where the big deal right now is Medusa sits. Top of the net worth, 4,600. Has some Ancients waiting for her. 3 points in Mana Shield now. I don't know. Things could get bad.
Yeah, and this is a more relevant Lincoln's game to go as well, because there are things that you have to worry about, like that Orchid or Electric Vortex Initiation. That's going to be the most likely cause of death. So I think Lincoln's Series is actually going to be decent here, even though the Arc Lightning can take it off pretty easily.
Yeah, that is true. Big range on that spell. Looks like they're looking for the kill on the one who possesses the Arc Lightning. It was Elder Titan rotating around, still looking for that Soul Ring. He is second to last in net worth along with Go Black. So the two Navi supports a little harder. Harder of a life for them, but not too much. Witch Doctor Tusk barely ahead of them.
Oh, going very deep here, and the TP response is immediate from the Tusk. TP away as well from Mind Control. And that's just going to leave him empty-handed, though it only costs him some HP.
Nothing of value was lost. Zeroji will stay in the bottom lane and farm up. They want their Witch Doctor to be level 6. They want the Death Ward on the field. He's 3 points in cask, 2 in the heal right now, as the people going for the early Maledict builds have just completely fallen off.
Oh, going in. They're going to dive onto Vanscore. Doesn't have that much HP to work with here, and Sneaky's just going to get an easy solo kill. The Oblivion Staff is actually a very underrated amount of damage going his way. Not only mana regen and int, but, okay, overstepping his bounds significantly as he didn't TP away immediately.
Yeah, I guess, did he throw another Ball Lightning to run out of mana completely?
He balled Southwest when he saw Havos, and then the TP Blink Clap connects.
Soul Ring was close to coming off a cooldown, but in that situation, you lose that health, you probably go down here. The Snowball's going to chase up Phonic. Not going to be able to find him. And Puck is a pretty scary hero to snowball, right? Like, the spell is fantastic if you hit people with it, but if those people orb and jaunt away back to a tier 2 and then you chase them because you have no choice, like, situation can go from decent to horrendous very, very quickly. Also, I think force staffs kind of shut down the snowball initiation for the same thought process. Like, you get forced or double forced away. Suddenly, you've brought yourself and possibly your teammates so far out of position.
Yeah. Up top, we're going to be seeing a jump in onto Havos here, and as tanky
kill.
as he will get, he's not that tanky now. The Stone Gaze will not keep him alive as Sneaky goes just in full force with the help of the Zeus. They commit everything, but he's got a regen rune, so only lacking cooldowns after he pops that single rune. Anyways, one thing I want to mention is that although I love the Tusk pick and I think it's very interesting and unique, I don't think he's going to be a big difference maker this game. Like, potentially he'll make 1 or 2 cool plays this game, but it's still eyes on pretty much everybody else to set the tempo of the game.
All right, trying to bring down another tower. After all, they do have the Jakiro. They'll rotate him down with the max liquid fire. I don't believe he had any part in pushing that bottom tier 1, but that tower, not too hard to get these days. As Fortify available, of course, as it was refreshed. Elder Titan trying to stop the push. He's up to level 6, 3 points in Astral. 1 in Earth Splitter, so pretty much all Vanscore needs to slow this down. But the tower, more than likely not going to be alive much longer.
Yeah, pretty easy for the Jakiro to bring that down. He's got 7 armor with the Tranquils, and he'll take a couple pot shots to keep that liquid fire rolling. Puts it just outside deny range, and they can force that push whenever they so choose. But Promise Split will be coming back up in just 15 seconds, and Havos has actually kind of joined the fray here just to farm with the safety of his allies, but I guess that's just because the Storm is so penchant on picking people off. Speaking of, right on top, Phonic here is taking some hits, but he does get the coil and the silence and does
wow!
Sneaky going down.
What a
huge
play.
Turn of events, and Phonic jumps up to level 8 off of that. Huge.
That silence. Taking the orb, perfect. Go Black just drops the Mystic Flare, and Storm was trying to dodge it, but didn't have the time. Nice. Oh, is it nice, though? The ice goes out to stop Pavos in his tracks, but it turns everyone to stone, and the Splitter coming through. It's the good old Medusa Elder Titan combo, and while it only kills a Jakiro, it's maybe just a small little taste of what's to come from the Na'Vi lineup.
That's so good. The only way you can make that line better is add in a Naga Siren support, because then you get to Song, then Stomp, then Stone Gaze, and then Earth Splitter. But in this case here, it's fine enough just to have them be so ambitious in that team fight, walk right into the petrification themselves, and then follow it through as you would. Now the Earth Splitter, I believe it's 50%, yeah, it's half damage magical, half damage physical, so although half of the damage is nullified by the Stone Gaze, the other half is amplified by 40%. So it's still about the same, and obviously you get to slow them as they're retreating because you've been dishing out all this physical damage right clicks. So awesome. The big difference here is the fact that the natural order is involved. Once that gets maxed out, this Medusa just automatically hits like a truck because nobody has any armor to stand against her. They don't have... they had a Basilius before, but it looks like the Storm Spirit sold it, or maybe disassembled and then sold the Ring of Protection, which means they have absolutely no armor buffs for their team. Just the Tranquil Boots on Jakiro to help him out.
Yeah, over time, I think Magoma can go for a Vlad's. I think that'd be a great item for the Tusk. If the game's going more your way, the Urn and Medallion and some Phase Boots are some really good item pickups, but you can never go wrong with the Vlads, honestly, on just about any hero in the game. Like, if you're in that 4th or 3rd sort of farming role, and that's definitely an affordable item, that armor will extremely help against an Elder Titan, especially if you're turned to stone. That's going to be 40% bonus physical damage for now, 50% at 1 more level, and you're going to have 0 base armor because of natural order, which means a lot of dead people. Kefka in some trouble. The Primal Split will go out. He drops the Ice Path, and he will fall. And actually, they're going to try to contest this. I don't know if that's the right call. Actually, Sneaky's here. It probably is. He's doing very well. He has the Orchid up. Won't be able to bring down Vanscore. Nice controlling there. And looking for the blink here from Dendi out of the Earth Panda. Should be able to get it. Oh, actually, he's not able to get it in time, and he's going to go down here. Can he get one more stomp? He will find some damage, but he falls. Elder Titan Vanscore with a nice try there, sleeping everybody up. And Dendi probably saying space created. As tower getting pushed in, that tier 2 Fortify going to be forced out as Havos getting some nice right clicks onto that tower.
No, I think that was a pretty clear win for Team Unknown. It's just like the aspect of losing the Brewmaster, not great, and the Orchid comes out onto Phonic. They're going to focus him down in particular, and this Chain Stun is enough to finish him off. before any potential stone gates to take effect. So Havos is now on the run. They don't have that much mana to chase, but they do have some. With the Soul Ring coming up, it's going to be on Goblak to keep Havos safe.
Just as the auto attack slow from overcharged was on cooldown and didn't have the mana for it. Oh my gosh, and that's the increased skill cap right there. Beautiful ice shards, and now the snowball through, gonna get them out of that Mystic Flare. That's on to Go Black, looking for the secondary kill. Make it 3 as they killed Funnick about an hour ago. He's just respawning now, and they will clean up the big kill on the Medusa. Like I said, killing her twice, killing her a few times in the early game puts you in a good position for basically unknown, as Dendi will crit down the Witch Doctor.
Still, I mean, the Tusk looks there and he just says, try doing that, Earthshaker. It's like, it's a super fisher. He gets it in the perfect choke point. He completely locks him out, and they even get the Skywrath after the fact. Like, so few support heroes could possibly get that kill. Like, even a Spirit Breaker would be hard-pressed to actually engage to that range and do the same thing.
Unless
like,
it was Mag.
It was a really fucking good Ice Shards, and he is already... showing what he can do with the hero. It seems small, but obviously that's a huge hero to bring down at this stage in the game.
That really is going to slow
He
it
goes
up.
right for the Ancients, though. 2 points, and split shot means 3 auto attacks at 80% damage output.
Yeah, so definitely less than 100, but it's not the longest. You got the high ground right there, and we'll be able to bring them down. Nice experience, nice gold, and in a pretty safe location. There's no wards over here from the Radiant. Let's check out their vision right now. A little up there towards the middle tier 2 on the high ground, and a little south of that, just in the middle lane, watching any rotations of Na'Vi, trying to maybe keep tabs on where that Medusa is farming towards the middle lane or rotating into it from. Looking at the vision here for the Dire, just the bottom rune spawn, but I think we're going to have a more important fight in the bottom lane. They want to try to go in for this. Go Black's going to focus down by the Zeus, but he's slowing up, silencing here. There's the ultimate. Go Black bottling up, or Dendi actually bottling up Go Black, and the Earth Splitter will go out. I think that's more to facilitate the retreat right now. Wow. And the TPs go out. How much do they get out of this? The tower also falls. It crumbles. Jakiro, did he get a tier 2, though? He did.
Okay, so tier 1 tower and the whole stack of Ancients time to for the tier 2 and the Thunder God's Wrath. So, yeah, I think that's okay for both sides, but obviously Havos is feeling much better now that he has the Liquid Sphere. That was a pretty big item for him to survive against the Storm Spirit. Still, they could consider things like Force Staff and stuff like that, the Yule Scepter coming out of Jakiro soon. But as it stands right now, at least the Storm can't be the initiator easily against Medusa. He has to waste the Orchid and use the pull.
Yep, big, and already another 1,000 gold, so we'll probably see in another 1050.
Oh, no Orchid!
Oh, he doesn't have it!
I guess
maybe the tree line or something? The split goes out. Can they disengage? They'll still find a Jakiro. Split for Jakiro isn't the best, and actually, as Medusa is going to go chase on the other side of this.
Just got the Yules.
Look at that Yule set. They're trying to keep himself up, and now, because of that Yules, though, the team thinks they can maybe re-engage. Shavos has thrown out the stone, hasn't locked anyone in place. It is pretty hard to do without some other crowd control, and, well, the Jakiro is going to be the first to die here. Will anyone else? Zeroji, nice death ward going out. Havos now officially out of mana. Puck throwing the orb, the coil, and he takes the orb back. Beautifully done. Coil on 2. Zeus able to TP out, has no other stuns to follow it up, but now both of this, well, support and an offlane are dead. They're going to look for some more. It's going to be Nagoma. He takes the snowball. Somehow it's on to Puck. I don't even know. Now that Thunder God's Wrath, Funnick is going to be the first one to go down. But also the other support and the offlane are dropping for the price of just one offlaner. Looking pretty good for Na'Vi. Even a little bit of damage to the tier 1. They might be able to get it here. But I think they'll err on the side of caution and back off.
Mind control, maybe by happenstance, but does the Thunder God's Wrath right when the puck gets stunned, so there's no chance of phase shift. Maybe coordinated that a little bit, and that is a very nice little turn. But nevertheless, we saw how much damage Havos could tank in that team fight. He has so much durability when his mana pool is full. He could just eat the Death Ward all day long. It is a level 1 Death Ward, so we're seeing 60 damage per hit instead of like 90 or 120, but it's still a lot of damage that could have been dealt to other heroes, but instead goes straight into Medusa. She survives, and then Puck silences. Overall, a great fight for Na'Vi. What looked to be like a great initiation from Storm. He doesn't use the Orchid. They do force the split, but they can't disengage fast enough.
All right, one tier 1 standing here at the side of Unknown. They'll smoke up under it, realizing no wards are really going to be present in that area. And actually, looking at Na'Vi, they have no wards on the map right now. So checking out stashes, item inventories. Go Black does have a few wards on him, so he'll be looking to refresh those up relatively soon. Decent vision out across the map, and I think Go Black just puts one ward down there for Na'Vi at the south rune spawn near the Roshan pit.
He's
As
got
we
one
smoke.
now and a pair in 30 seconds, but I think Zeus has been able to deward a couple.
They're going to try to find Go Black. They're going to initiate out of the smoke with the Snowball, and goodbye Skywrath. Maybe goodbye Elder Titan as well. The Ice Path and the Shards and the Macro Pyre all going to be a little off the mark. Unfortunate, but really nothing of cooldown value was lost, so it's okay for Unknown. Nice pick off. Wanted some more, but they'll take it.
Yeah. So one ward that was placed here will cover up the Ancients a little bit, but I think they know it by now, but this ward has been here for 3 minutes, Sentry, blocking off the camp, and Medusa hasn't been able to farm there. Still has the Ultimate Orb towards the Scotty, presumably. I mean, Manta's still really good, but we'll have to see how rapidly he's able to farm towards his next item. And that's pretty much the game right there, is get Medusa farmed.
Yeah, Medusa's farm is like all that matters. It'll be the Ultimate Orb for now. Going for the Manta first, it would appear. Potentially, what do you think, Manta or Scotty? What do you prefer?
I like the movement speed for Manta. I think that's too important.
There's an Orchid on Storm, so it seems like it's most definitely going to be that. Just in case the Lincolns isn't quite enough to block it. But in the middle lane, they'll go in for the pickoff on Dendi. That's going to be his second death. He's 5-2-3. He's fourth in the pack in net worth at 7.7k. But the story, it's 11.1 net worth there for Havost on the Dusa. 9.8 for the Storm. He was number one for a while. Sneaky having a really good game previously on Sven, and here now on the Storm Spirit. And 8.8k for the Zeus. It's been a good day for Zeus overall.
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty strong hero in the right hands at the right time. But in this game, his damage is going to start tapering. Like, he doesn't have a progression towards Veil or towards Aghanims. So once he hits 16, that's pretty much all the damage he can do. And Navi is going to get bigger. Like, right now, they don't have anything in terms of, like, Mech or Pipe. But they do have at least some Vlads for some physical mitigation. And obviously, Medusa is really all the tank you'll need, unless she's kind of singled out 3 or 4 versus 1. On the other hand, we're going to see basically Unknown picking up a mechanism on the Jakiri here, and I think that's a really smart pickup against the Medusa. The split shot is something that you have to deal with, similar to Gyrocopter's flat cannon, and the heal plus armor is going to be huge to mitigate some of those losses. So we're going to see the smoke into the jungle, but I don't think they're going to find anybody. Sneaky is a little bit too far out of bounds. Oh, Wayne Rift does connect.
Oh, not living up to his name right there. The quick pickoff.
I really thought that Funnick wouldn't be able to get range in range in time, but he did get the blink in the cusp of the Waning Rift, and they bring down the Storm very nicely.
Bloodstone is completely... this is going to be redundant, but completely completed for Mind Control. They're leaving it on the courier over at the Secret Shop. I'm guessing this is planned, but I don't see any benefit in not bringing that. Like, these items were actually on the courier. Oh, he hadn't quite finished the soul boost. All right, I take it back, guys. I didn't look at his inventory.
He might not finish it now.
Wasn't quite done.
Staff.
Nah, he bought it. It's being delivered. Everything's on the courier, but they will kill him and delay it another 50 seconds.
I guess it's okay because he doesn't lose charges.
So
right?
good that was not delivered. If he had just got it delivered and lost the charges, he would have been probably hitting himself in the head. Meanwhile, middle lane Dendi, looking to get more aggressive, will be greeted with an Ice Path. And the tier 1 is now going to fall. So Na'Vi have taken all the outer tier 1s, and they will actually trail by 1 tower. Unknown have got all the T1s and that top tier 2, thanks a lot in part to Jakiro's Liquid Fire.
All right, so it is going to be the Eye of Scotty from the Medusa. It doesn't really increase her damage rate that much, just the 25 agility, but it does make her the tankiest thing you've ever seen. The bonus health and mana, along with the bonus stats, makes it almost impossible to bring her down. With the Liquid Sphere, with the Scotty, it's a very defensive build, but I guess they are up against a lot of damage. At this point, she could tank through the entire team for a good 8 seconds when she finishes that item.
Yeah, and the Scotty's pretty nice. It'll apply the slow to the one person you attack, and maybe, well, of course you get more attacks out, and just maybe you'll get a proc on your Stone Gaze, the Stone Form, just because of that extra slow. You can maneuver in front of them while you're sort of orb walking. Who knows what may happen here as Havost is playing this. Medusa buys up a TP, and I think Zeus bought a smoke, so they're looking for another smoke play. Dendi went for... I'm glad every Brewmaster now going for the blink. Vladimir's offering. When the hero was getting very popular, we saw a wide variety of item builds, but for the most part, it's the blink into the Vlads or the blink BKB Vlads on about every Brewmaster. Although I will say the boots are still always varying for Brewmaster players, depending on the game, depending on the player.
Smoke top, Vanscore has 3 TPs. We'll see if he uses one of them before they break loose. I think he has vision. Yeah, they're all scouting the wrong areas. They find him now, but
Uh-oh.
Yules gets him with Thunder God's Wrath vision, and Vanscore will not be getting out of this one. But more time for us to keep farming. His next item is actually going to be a Maelstrom into Mjolnir, I believe. The only alternative is really Midas or Armlet. Both seem inapplicable in this situation. But yeah, if he gets the Mjolnir up, I've seen it do wonders. Getting the crazy attack speed out, getting the static charge buff on yourself, it actually can do a lot of work. So we'll see that pretty soon, I believe. But first and foremost, it's the Roche. Do they give the Aegis to the tankiest guy you'll ever see, or do they just give it to somebody who's going to be more active in the fight?
Dendi or Phonic for sure.
I don't know. I've seen so many times that you can get, I mean, not Wraith King level of double stacking the Aegis, but I've seen some pretty redundant Aegises.
I think you just, whoa, too much casting, man. The voice. I think you just give it to Dendi, let him jump in, let him die, whatever. Medusa then stands there, Dendi respawns, props the Primus split, and they kill everybody. That's obviously...
But Havos is the one with the item slot, and he is picking it up.
I mean, it's not the first time we saw, again, the Medusa yesterday. They were doing the same exact thing, right? Like, oh, here, take an Aegis, don't die. Your deaths really matter when, I don't know, you get back up, you can farm so fast. Sure, death is a setback, but I don't think it's the biggest deal. Yeah. Might still not matter in the end.
This is the ignore Medusa strat now. They essentially cannot bother with this Medusa twice over until she's all by herself.
And the Astral Spirit gathering that intel up and bringing it back to the red team here. I guess the yellow team, whatever. The TF2 references break down after a point. But Vanscore, they're, nice defensive Yules. Probably just going to delay the inevitable a little bit longer. He'll even drop the ultimate, and he'll fall. Sneaky going to be forced to BKB. That Earth Splitter will slow him down for a while. Are they going to go for this? Is the right click strong enough? It is. Dendi jumps in with a crit. 243 red. Havost hit him pretty hard as well, pulling back that bowstring.
Yeah, just pulling out the nice little quick strike of the Drunken Brawler, and yeah, there's pretty much nothing the Storm could do in those kinds of situations. If he goes in, he can get a kill, but disengaging is another story entirely. It's going to be like on his team to bail him out. Lagoma does now have the Blink Dagger, so there is some potential for some instantaneous disengage, counter initiation, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, we'll have to see really how good he is with the Snowball. We've seen him do some work with the Ice Shards, but the Snowball, it's still a pretty tricky thing, especially to use it defensively.
Yeah, he does have a pretty cool combo right now that will also disrupt through BKB, which is the Blink Walrus Punch. So that's nice. You can Blink Walrus Punch, put yourself in the Snowball, chill in it for 4 seconds. If any of your allies are nearby or getting low, you can bring them in during that 4 seconds and, you know, create quite a ruckus. You can also put the Sigil down, and you can even put the Sigil inside of the Snowball, because it doesn't move very fast, and if you want to bring it into the fight, you got to put it in the Snowball. It's really, really cool stuff. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much of the playmaking potential besides the one beautiful Ice Shards. It's been fairly silent.
Most definitely. But now we see the Orca come out on the Illusion, and they even go for the Walrus Punch and Electric Vortex. Those tanky Illusions getting the early evade makes it seem like they have more to offer than meets the eyes, but Dendi just baits out a few spells, and the tower is falling quickly.
And here's the fast right-click item coming out for Medusa. Is going to go for the Maelstrom, get some lightning procs going out as well, along with the split shot. So tons of AoE damage coming out from Medusa, now some of it magical. Well, obviously the Mystic Snake actually hits pretty hard as well. Lincoln's going to be broken up. Thinking about going high ground. I guess, okay, this is definitely a benefit of putting the Aegis on Medusa. Just frontliner and hit the buildings. And then have her die first and then follow up with the Puck and Brewmaster initiation. So it looks like that's what they're going to run for.
Definitely can work. 2 minutes left on the Aegis here. And yeah, Dendi has to play a little more passively, but he's got his Vlads, his 10-second BKB, and his split up. There's not much chance of him just being completely insta-gib. Still, in this position, they're fishing for the stomps. That's the big thing here. Vanscore really wants to get a good Echo Stomp off so they can go right up the high ground. It's not like Nightmare where you can wake somebody up. If they're caught, they're caught. But yeah, he's just spamming it once every 15 seconds, and it looks like they're not going to find what they're looking for. That Tier 3 didn't even take any damage, really.
No, not just a couple attacks. Maybe
It's
one.
essentially just the entire team standing right behind Medusa while she's farming. It just happens to be in an offensive zone.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much the strat when you pick Medusa at a certain point in just about every game.
Yeah, I guess it prevents the enemy team from farming because they're focused on
Yeah.
defending. So it's farm that he's getting that they are not. That's the
Well,
important.
one person on unknown gets farm, and then Medusa gets farm, and Medusa's just more important to get farm on than whoever that one person was. I'd assume it was maybe Sneaky, but with Jakiro spamming macro pyres to stop the push, you know, probably a lot of that farm goes to just the entire team, which even better, I feel like, for that Medusa player.
Yep. And she has more ancients to work with. She's closing in on level 25. Her stats are absolutely insane for her survivability. And when she finishes the Mjolnir, she's going to just be able to tear through people. I really don't know if there's a point of safe return after that Mjolnir is complete.
Yeah, the lightning shield's gonna go pretty nice in tandem with the mana shields. Maybe get a poor man shield and a photic shield. Are there any more shield
Spell
abilities?
shield, but
Which one?
spell shield doesn't really help.
Oh, spell shield, yeah. I guess you could just stout shield as well. Anyways, fun games, figuring out all the shields. That's what we do around here.
So, what? How do they crack this one? I mean, obviously the Aegis is about to go away, so that's something. But
Oh man,
Funny!
Funnick. Look at this coil though, onto 3.
afraid of
It's
two.
pretty
That's
stuff
insane.
down there. The self-fuel's up, and Funnick will even get out of that great initiation. Look at that Earth Splitter. Gonna land on 3 as they go up into the high ground. This is the breach they're gonna be looking for. Well, actually, they're in the valley right now. After this team fight, they can maybe get up there. Mind Control trying to retreat back to safety of his own base. He will be brought down with a big right clicks. There's a buyback on Jakiro here, so that's Kefka trying to do what he can. Has the Yules, has the mech, but now the sleep will go out. So Roji wants to chase. Sneaky, meanwhile, also going to fall. Vanscore going to go down, and Dendi just going to crit up that Witch Doctor. Another buyback. There's a buyback to that offlaner and the support here. 19 to 14. Havost. Full health, full mana. Looks like they did get that Aegis.
No, it just popped by itself.
Just kidding. He is legitimately unkillable.
We'll see. They're going to test that theory. They have 4 people going on 1. Funnick only has like 1 spell to help him out. So it looks like he is going to go down here. But Funnick trying to make it happen.
Oh
The
my
split
gosh.
shot. Dendi coming in. Are you serious? Most of the double kill. Going for a triple. He does fall, but the cleanup is here.
SBKB.
The Ice Shards pushes Dendi to the other side. Mind Control's Force Staff fails him in the end, and they all fall. They're all dead. Only Magoma will live, and he is not going to be able to do anything here. This was Havost. Even though he does die, he lives on in the reality of how epic that moment was. He was able to do so much damage, and yeah, he just keeps racking up the net worth. He is about to be completely out of control as he buys up a Daedalus on the Courier. He only needs the Demon Edge in 500 gold. And if he has that, like, what is there to stop him?
Like, look how long Havost lives. Like, Dendi and Funnick could literally have a discussion about what to do with the situation before they decide to go in, and they will jump in a quick silence, waning rift, orb, the big stomp, the extra slow, the slow from the Scotty, and so much right click. 2 of them go down before even the Medusa does, and Dendi with the BKB, they clean up the rest. 15 to 23.
Yeah, if only he had some lifesteal or something. I bet he could have actually lived through that anyways, but
Yeah.
no Wisp to keep him alive.
Still no lifesteal. He's going to go for the crit.
Oh yeah, no, he just needs damage. I mean, the lifesteal was just like if in that situation, because they'd already exhausted all their spells, it would have been cool, but it's still not the better item choice overall until 6th slot.
Yeah. Na'Vi getting a lot of material for their YouTube videos out of the Starladder games of late. I saw the RP on 3 video from yesterday's games, which was pretty nice. Dendi was on point. No pun intended with that Magnus. The pun was intended, actually. I'm a
I
liar.
don't know if there's even a pun there.
What do you, the point? The horn? Come on.
I understand horns are pointy, but it
How
just
is that not a
seems like
pun?
there are so many things that are pointy. You can't just
Yeah.
you shoot an arrow at somebody and you say, "I think he got the point." That's a pun.
That's a good pun. That's a more direct pun.
Yeah.
I like people to think about mine.
Think if it's even a pun or not. The intimate discussions.
Chat, back me up.
All right, so we got the front liners here down the middle lane. Even without Aegis, they're feeling pretty good. They got the Daedalus complete, and you look at what is in his inventory. A bottled double damage rune, courtesy of Funnick. Thank you so much, friend. Have insane amount of damage output. When he pops that thing, it's just going to be absolutely glorious. I mean, essentially, just can tear through anybody. He's going to be able to 3-shot supports even with split shot, I believe. That rune is so damn good, and now that he's essentially immortal, all he needs is damage, and here it is, and a convenient little rune. They can use it off, so maybe I'm overhyping it, but DD rune, so good.
There's never enough hype. Could never overhype. As well, still trying to move into the base. Can you? I put it in the other room. So yeah, all right. I don't know. Sorry, real life obligations approach. Casting, if you could leave me in peace. Here's the final fight potentially of the game. The ice path is going out. The shards is there. They're going to grab Havost. The earth splitter isn't going to do much for him, but Havost's still alive. He runs out of mana. And Sneaky going to try to jump in. There is a bit of damage going to Havost, and looks like he will fall. He finally goes down dead for 90. There's no buyback as they try to break the high ground. Na'Vi not going to be getting as much as they wanted out of this. The coil for Funnick on the background, trying to fight up against mind control. And let's see. Van's score will also drop. It's a 3-for-2 right now, but with the Medusa going down, Na'Vi were really looking to break the high ground right there, and they're not going to be able to.
He hit heroes for 823 after the ultimate came through. That was just insane. Like, he 800 HP off of a Witch Doctor, off of a Storm Spirit. Like, although he didn't actually get most of those kills, or maybe any of those kills, he was able to do so much damage to set it up. He only kills the Witch Doctor in the end, but Dendy it's such an easy cleanup, and they don't even have like the buybacks to reinforce at this point. Dendy and Funnick can just run around. It was like 3 or 4 auto attacks from Havost, and suddenly he takes out half the team's HP. That's just insane. I mean, yes, they do bring him down, but they have to commit so many resources into doing so that they just can't win a fight. Mind Control getting the nice lightning bolt onto Funnick, but he doesn't have any control, just the haste rune, and he does a Force Staff. Could maybe go for a play here, but Yulesing away. I think he's going to be able to face dodge.
Stay in the trees, Funnick.
He's phasing.
He watched free to play. He knows what's good.
It's true. Learning from Master HYHY.
He even starred in that. Well, not really, but he wasn't. Whatever. No, actually, he's just kidding. That was way before Funnick's time. Lol. The failfish.
Good job, man.
Sometimes I forget, man. Fine, go black. There, he was in that. Just to refresh, we'll go to the Aegis. Oh, it doesn't have their... Oh, no, you can still bring it up. Art style. Oh, he wasn't on the team.
You can. I didn't know that you got the old ones, too.
Yeah, you get them.
I thought I only did the newest one. Okay, that's neat. I wonder how long before they run out of space. I have to go like a square around the whole thing.
I can always just drop down menu or something.
That's not gaudy. So we got a Pipe of Insight on Puck. Obviously very good against the Zeus, but I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'd love to see a stats man pulling up the Pipe of Insight statistics on the Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, when you need the item, you need the item. Offlane utility, it kind of just fills that role. They're tired of dealing with the Thunder God's Wrath. They feel like they needed to breach the high ground, and yeah, I think I can agree with them.
No, it's not bad at all. I find it interesting that he's the one to pick it up in particular. Often you see the ET pick it up, the Brewmaster, but Funnick's like, I can get it pretty quick. And there you go. He's like got everything he needs with the Blink the Yules. The Ag is just kind of icing on the cake if he does acquire it before this game is done. But another Aegis on Medusa, all this potential damage, even without a DD rune. I don't see basically Unknown holding for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, they're doing the best they can, I guess. They haven't lost Arax yet.
It's the midnight hour, though. They really have to make their stand. But Kefka getting picked off without buyback is not the way to start that off.
Nope, he was a big part in trying to slow down the push with the ice paths, with the macro pyres, even slow down the attack speed if he can manage the liquid fire. But here is Havost moving up to the high ground. He's got the Aegis of the Immortal on him right now. And Split Earth going to go out. Earth Splitter, rather, not going to really land on anybody as the tower is finally going to fall. So now they've broken the high ground here at 41 minutes at 28-17. Pretty dominant performance from them. Havost way out front, about 24,000 net worth. And there we go, the zip in. Dendy blinks. BKB's up. And wish out to Jakiro, nowhere to be found right now. Jakiro, the only one to die during this engagement, though.
Yep, so trying to do what they can. Sneaky will just jump right out as soon as he can, but he gets silenced. He tries to BKB out of it, and it's too late. He just takes too much damage.
That was a big AoE stun.
All he was planning to do is ball in and ball out, but he waited too long in the secondary ball. Funnick with the quick silence, and him with the slow BKB. They get absolutely destroyed, and they still have the Aegis to go through on Medusa. She can kill off literally anybody that respawns at this point, as long as it's not all 5. And she probably will do so, but Funnick jumps in first.
All right, Tier 4 is going down. Ice Path Macropire. Look at Medusa taking no damage, just standing there and delivering onto the Tier 4 towers. Meanwhile, Dendy is still split up down there, taking some people out in the fountain, you know, as you do. Funnick doesn't like spiders. He's going to focus the effigy. That's what really matters right now from Funnick's mind. And there's the GG call here from Unknown. And wow, they go 0-3 on the day. I got to say, they put up a pretty good fight against all of these teams. Like, none of them were just, like, pure domination. All of them even until, like, let's say a 20-minute mark until the other team. And actually, they were utterly destroying in their previous game before 4 Anchors turned it around. But either way, I think a pretty impressive performance for them today, despite not getting a win, as they replay all of the games that Cloud9 had either played or forfeited. So got a lot of games coming up from basically Unknown, and hopefully that'll get them and their players pretty known.
Yeah, that's the idea here, is building up the Tier 2 as well as showing off the best of the best. And it's really nice that Starladder can kind of accommodate all fields of life as far as the strength of the teams right now. They get a chance to perform on the big LAN and maybe even a shot at the prize pool, but they will need to shape up a little bit and rethink their strategies a little bit here, especially when it comes down to letting the Medusa 5th pick go through. It's really hard to predict. There are so many really good 5th picks in the metagame right now. Broodmother and Medusa, I think, are my top 2, but it's still, you have to be prepared for anything, and Navi show it here as the ET Medusa reigns supreme. Some great play from Dendy as well, and that Funnick Dream Coil Waning Rift on the top lane beyond the Tier 2, that was absolutely incredible. So Navi certainly deserved the win, and they take it here in 42 minutes.
All right, well, apparently I need to go rewatch Free to Play and remember who was on Navi's TI1 roster, because screwed the pooch on that one. But anyways, that's going to finish up Starladder 11 Europe for the day. Coming up in not too much longer, it's going to be like it's at 3:45 Eastern time, so that's going to be 1 hour and 40 minutes. We've got Starladder Americas. There's going to be 3 games there, and I know it wasn't covered yesterday, so I know your favorite casters, Helium and Blaze, are going to step up. We're going to do that first game of the Americas, and I'm probably going to try to get some of the Leviathan players. They're really good friends of mine to come in after their first game, and we might do a bit of a fun cast with a couple of their players, maybe just one of them. But we'll see what happens either way. I'm Helium. You can follow me on Twitter at HeliumBrother. Blaze here at Blaze Casting. So stick around. More Starladder action coming up later.